Hi everyone, and welcome to Soul GPS. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about New Year's resolutions, new intentions, and new beginnings. And since we are in this time of the year right now, I was thinking about a message that I wanted to send to you all that would be inspiring, but also give you a sense of peace rather than push you towards doing something or being someone you're not, or doing things that may not be in full resonance with you, but maybe come from an expectation that you have imposed on yourself. So my message to you today is, if you are looking at a new beginning, if you are coming to an end in your life of a chapter, and this doesn't have to happen at the end of the year. This can happen at any time, virtually any time. You just feel it viscerally that something's coming to an end and something new is beginning. And you can have it multiple times in a month, multiple times in a year. It's really up to you. It doesn't matter. But a time comes when we feel like it's time to let go and it's time to let something new in. And today is one of those days. And so as I was thinking about what kind of message I would like to offer to you today, and to myself too, because we're all in this together, I couldn't think of a better intention or a better resolution than this one. And that is to be more fully you, to be yourself, to celebrate yourself, to get to know yourself better. Because this time of transition in which most of us are, if we're watching these videos, if we're healing ourselves, although of course it can extend through transition time, just so that we keep remembering how to be with ourselves, so we keep remembering the truth of who we are. But mostly, we dive in and we do a lot of self-work when we're in that time of transition, when we enter the void, when something ends and the new hasn't yet come. And it's a very shaky time. It's a groundless time. It's a time where it can be difficult to feel stable. And if that's how you feel, just know that that is normal. It's natural to feel that way, to feel unstable, to not know who you are, to not know where you're going. And so now is a good time to give yourself the space and the time to discover who you are. And so I wanted to share with you a few things that you could do in order to get to know yourself a little bit better and learn to be more you, because it does seem like a little bit of an abstract statement, right? Be more you. And it's like, what does that mean? And it's abstract and confusing for a reason. And the main reason for that is that if we have, for most of our life, been living for other people and have put others first, then it can be really difficult to step back and sit with ourselves and really feel ourselves, because we're kind of somewhere there underneath the layers of expectations, of perfectionism and things like that. So here are some of the things that I wanted to share with you. Being yourself is not about perfection. So ditch that just as soon as you can. It is oftentimes a belief that's imposed, or demand that's imposed from the outside, by parents, by siblings, by teachers, by whoever. And it can become internalized. And then you can walk through your life, unable to start anything, to do anything that you really want to, because you're afraid of not being perfect or not doing it right. I remember when I started making these videos, my videos were so different back then than they were now. But they were not... If I approached it from the point of view of perfection, I could pick every one of my videos apart and say that they were just, they're full of flaws, because they are. But I don't intend to be perfect. I just want to speak to you from my heart. And when you do things from your heart, no matter what it is, don't worry about it being perfect. When you look at any timeline of a star or someone who you really admire, their early days were not, what they become later. So give yourself the time to, when you are learning to be with yourself, allow yourself to be in that groundless space, to have shaky legs, to not quite fully know. And it's okay. Just learning to be with yourself is really an art of being present, and an art of compassion, self-compassion. So say no to perfection, because again, that is imposed by some abstract, amorphous demanding entity that is no longer here, most likely, but became internalized. So let it go. And what you do want to let in is self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself for anything that you have done that you think was wrong, was flawed, was not okay for some reason. Because I guarantee you, when you were doing it, you did the best that you could. Even if you knew in the back of your mind that, oh, maybe what I'm doing right now is wrong, but there was something in you that needed to experience what you did, and it's now in the past. So let it go and forgive yourself. Now you know better. Now you have the data. Now you have the information. Now you know what to do much better. But again, don't expect that perfection. So no to perfectionism, yes to self-forgiveness. And clear the slate also of secondary narrative. This has been so helpful for me as I've been going through my own healing journey. That is not always easy. It's still very bumpy sometimes. I have periods of difficulty and sorting things out that is not always easy. So even though I've been doing this for quite a bit of time, it's just know that we're always doing our best, and we may not always have all the tools that we need, and we can bump up against walls. But one way to really take off some strain and some stress is by examining and letting go as soon as we can of the secondary narrative. What I mean by this is, okay, XYZ happened. All right, it happened. But when we start to assign meaning and untangle it to the point where we feel like we're on the edge of losing our minds, then that's the secondary narrative that's going to keep us stuck in a lot of the rumination and cognitive dissonance that could be much more, it may be much more useful for us to just kind of recognize and say, aha, I'm playing a bit of a game with myself right now. Let's just acknowledge and move on. And a couple of the things that I have been incorporating quite a bit lately into my routine that has been quite helpful, because I am in yet another state of transition right now, is rather than looking at all the things that are not working, which is what the ego does, right? The ego wants to latch on to, okay, this is not working, and it's kind of, you enter this downward spiral. Look at the things that are working. Look at the things that you did that were right, and accept where you are right now. Accept your present state, your present condition, because it is from a place of acceptance that we can launch forward into our new life. If we're fighting the present, then we're stuck in fighting the present. But the moment we accept it, no matter how painful it is, now we have a place that's real, that's anchored in truth, that we can launch from. And gratitude is the next one. And, I've had a funky relationship with gratitude, to be honest with you. I remember when I was first going through a lot of difficulties, I was like, well, how can I be grateful if all of these things happen? But the truth of the matter is, it's not really necessarily about denial. Of course it isn't. I don't want you to be in denial. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm in this really great place. Thank you, God, for sending me all these lessons, when you really don't feel like it. But it's more about finding the little things that work. If you're feeling if it's really difficult for you right now, if you're feeling this heaviness, it's not so much about trying to reframe all of it at once, which can seem like a Herculean project. More like, notice that, okay, it's warm. I am fed. I have myself. I am on this journey. I don't know exactly where it's going to lead me, but at least now I have so much more awareness. Notice the people that have shown up for you during this time. Notice the times when you have learned to be there for yourself too, and be grateful for that. Because a lot of things are probably still working in your life. If you have children, be grateful for the connections that you have with them. If you have new plans of changing things in your life, acknowledge that too, and be grateful for the energy that you have in order to execute and accomplish the things that you want to do, and the things you've also done. A lot of the times we make the mistake of comparing ourselves and where we are today with the future ideal image. It's that perfectionism virus again that's kind of coming up. So if you're doing that, stop that, because that's never going to lead you any place that's productive and a place of feeling a sense of relief and groundedness, even when things are feeling groundless. The way to go is to really acknowledge and accept where you are today. Feel yourself, and then look back. If you need to compare yourself with the person you were yesterday, the person you were a year ago, 2 years ago, and see the progress you have made. And when you're going through difficulty, it can be very difficult to see the progress, because you are so deeply immersed in pain. Know that the pain will go away. Know that you're going to be okay. You will get through this. And you are developing tremendous amount of resilience and resources as you're going through this process. And so back to the point, back to the topic of this video, just make it your resolution, if you don't have any, or if you have too many and you're feeling overwhelmed, because it can feel overwhelming when we want to do this, we want to do that. I looked at my own list in my head of the things I really want to do next year, and I'm just like, well, what if I don't get it all done, right? Which can happen. To avoid feeling sense of failure, to avoid feeling disappointment, I want to actually set this all aside and make all those things secondary, make all the things I want to accomplish as, yeah, if I get it done, that would be wonderful. But if I don't get it done, what is the most important thing? What is the intention that will carry me through all my days as they change, as they shift? And that intention is to be fully me, to be more fully myself, to get to know myself, to be with myself through the thick and thin. So that is something I wish for you, to have the intention, to set the intention to be you, to get to know yourself more, to accept yourself, and to have those moments of just feeling good with yourself. And that is what I wish for you, is as many of those moments as possible, moments of feeling good and comfortable with yourself, even if you're not feeling comfortable emotionally, even if you're processing a lot of things. Know that this is part of the human experience. You're doing great. Give yourself gratitude, give yourself acceptance, give yourself the love that you truly, truly deserve. And I'm sending you that love right now from where I am, and wish for you just a magnificent new year. Thank you. Bye-bye.